What's up everyone, it's boy David and welcome back to another breakdown. Today we're diving into From Season 4, Episode 5, and this one is absolutely insane. Packed with hidden details, jaw-dropping theories, and explanations that basically start cracking open the entire mystery of this town. Trust me, you do not want to skip this one. So let's get straight into it. From Season 4, Episode 5 opens with Donna, Ellis, Patty, and Roger standing at the edge of the lake, staring at something that has risen up from the water. Patty is genuinely worried. Could these be dead bodies floating up? The only way to find out was to get close and check. Now Roger, this guy was absolutely terrified. He had no idea what new horror was about to hit them, and honestly, fair enough, because this town never stops. But Donna wastes zero time and gives the order. Everyone pulls it to shore together. Roger was so scared he wouldn't even touch the rope, just stood there frozen while Donna, Patty, and Ellis did all the heavy lifting. I mean, bro, at least pretend to help. Meanwhile, Ethan and Tabby were near the cabin, burying the bird that Ethan had been trying to save. He had poured lake water on it, hoping it would heal, because remember, this lake has been built up as something magical and mysterious. But nothing happened. The bird died anyway. So the lake has zero healing power. You could call it the Lake of Fears, not the Lake of Tears. And that's actually an important detail we'll come back to later. When Ethan and Tabby finally rejoin the group, they discover that what came out of the lake wasn't bodies at all. They were life-size dolls. Scarecrows. Creepy, human-sized scarecrows. Donna even tears open one of their chests to check if something is hidden inside, but it's just wool and fabric stuffing. Now here's a detail that nobody notices in the moment, but is actually really important. The outer skin of the dolls was completely wet, but the stuffing inside was totally dry. If these dolls had been underwater for even a few hours, water should have soaked all the way through. So either these things come alive and walk out on their own, or the outer layer is somehow completely waterproof. Either explanation is deeply unsettling. Donna believes these dolls were placed in the lake as a kind of barrier, to keep whatever is inside from getting out. But here's what I think she's missing. Maybe their real purpose is to stop people from going into the lake and exploring it. Like a warning system. Keep out, don't come here. Whatever is down there, it doesn't want to be found. Right then, Tabby starts getting visions of these dolls, smaller versions that she used to play with as a child, possibly from a past incarnation. And this is where things get really interesting. Donna notices Tabby completely spacing out and pulls her aside. Tabby explains she's getting flashes, like she's seen these dolls somewhere before, but she can't fully piece it together. Is it good? Is it bad? She genuinely doesn't know. They decide to set the visions aside for now and focus on getting the Scarecrows back underwater. Later that night, everyone is trying to sleep in the cabin. Then a haunting singing sound drifts in from outside, like the silent singing, and that sound triggers something deep in Tabby's memory. In the vision, a young Tabby is playing with small versions of these dolls, when a man, possibly her father, snatches them away. He says the dolls give him nightmares and throws them straight into the lake. And here's the key part. In his nightmares, these small dolls appeared as massive, terrifying life-size versions, joined together, monstrous. And this is the pattern this show keeps showing us. Remember Sarah's brother Nathan? He was absolutely terrified of cicadas. The moment he was gone, cicadas appeared in the town. Same exact rule here. This man feared the Scarecrows, and his fear literally manifested them into reality. His nightmares became the monster, which means this town doesn't just trap people, it weaponizes their deepest fears against everyone around them. That is genuinely one of the most disturbing things about this place. Tabby realizes this memory is a warning. They've made a massive mistake staying in the cabin overnight. She starts panicking, says they should have taken their chances with the regular monsters outside. At least they know how to deal with those. Donna and Ellis try to calm her down. The talismans around the cabin will protect them, but Tabby says something chilling. Talismans only work on the creatures, not on scarecrows. And just like that, proven right immediately. One scarecrow smashes straight through the cabin wall and goes directly for Roger, shoves its hand into his mouth and literally tears his jaw apart. The one guy who had been cautious and sensible about the dolls the whole time, and nobody listened to him. This show really does punish the logical ones. And here's a number that should make everyone nervous. The town now has only 46 residents left. 46. Now, if the 47-person theory holds up, either someone brand new is about to arrive in this town, or a full massacre is right around the corner. Either way, things are about to get much worse. A second scarecrow attacks Patty and slams her face into the burning coals. Ellis breaks away just just in time and pulls her to safety, and the Scarecrow's hand catches fire in the process. Slightly satisfying, honestly. Then a third Scarecrow goes after Donna, but Tabby stops it. She rips one of the protective voodoo dolls right off the wall and drives it into the Scarecrow's chest. It drops instantly, completely inactive. Done. So here's the big question. Tabby has power over these dolls because she is the one who originally created them. And notice something crucial. The Scarecrows never once attacked Tabby directly. They went after Donna, Patty, Roger, but never Tabby. Do these things still recognize their original creator? Do they remember who made them? That is a massive detail that I think is going to matter a lot going forward. Cutting over to the clinic, Christy and Marrielle are working together to set Sophia's broken wrist. Marrielle heads to the ambulance to grab a brace and briefly crosses paths with Julie and Randall, both of whom look completely miserable after their last story-walking experience. Inside the ambulance, as Marrielle searches through the cabinets, two chains suddenly shoot out and trap her inside. The radio switches on, and what comes through is someone screaming in absolute agony, like a soul being tortured with no way out. This sends Marrielle straight back into the dungeon, the place where Martin was tormented, where her soul, Julie's soul, and Randall's soul were all dragged and broken. Christy eventually finds Marrielle completely curled up near the driver's seat, sobbing. Marrielle brushes it off, says it was just a small mental breakdown, and honestly in this town, who could blame her? But Christy isn't buying it. Later, Sophia casually walks up to Marrielle and simply touches her heart, and immediately, Marrielle is flooded with those horrifying visions again. She feels like she's back in that dungeon, chained, in unbearable pain, completely unable to escape. It feels so real, she nearly breaks completely. The moment Christy touches her, the illusion shatters, and this confirms everything. The yellow suit man is behind all of it. The dungeon, the seizures, the haunting visions, all him. And remember what Martin warned. There are things in this town far more dangerous than the monsters outside. The yellow suit man and the Scarecrows both laugh at the talismans. The usual rules don't apply to them. When Marrielle finally opens up to Christy, she reveals something heartbreaking. She can feel the pain of every single person who has ever died in this town. Not just her own trauma, everyone's. And she says the only thing left is to keep enduring it. Sophia then suggests Marrielle might be a prophet, chosen by God to carry everyone's suffering. She says this doesn't feel like God at all. This feels ancient, an ancient entity that literally feeds off human suffering. And God wouldn't do that. Whatever is running this town is ancient, it is powerful, and it is evil. And here's the theory that's building. Anyone who dies in this town never truly leaves. Their soul gets trapped forever. They become a screaming echo, endlessly suffering, endlessly feeding the entity that controls this place. Every ghost, every haunting, every vision. That's the trap dead, and they never get peace. Over at Colony House, Fatima is still working on the golem, and it's genuinely starting to take shape. Kenny stops by to apologize for doubting her earlier. He says doubt creates distrust, and distrust turns an already terrible situation into something even worse. Fatima tries to explain what it feels like when she gets a psychic connection with Smiley. She can't fully put it into words, only that it's so terrifying she keeps checking the window to make sure Smiley isn't already standing outside. She feels like their face-to-face encounter is coming no matter what. And she has no idea what she'll do when that moment arrives. As Kenny leaves, he spots Henry sneaking away with homemade potato alcohol. Doesn't say anything, just notices. Henry even invites him to join. Kenny politely says no, because that's not how you fix things. A little while later, Victor finds Henry completely drunk in the dining room, staring at the drawing that shows exactly what the yellow suit man did to his wife Miranda. Victor tries to get him to rest, but Henry is shattered. He starts playing piano, talking about how Miranda used to sing while he played. He's falling apart in real time, asking Victor how he survived 40 years in this place. And honestly, that question hits hard. 40 years. Most people can't last 40 days. As people gather, Kenny steps in. And this scene is one of the most emotionally heavy moments of the entire season. Because think about it, Kenny never got to properly say goodbye to either of his parents. Just gone. No closure. Nothing. So in his eyes, Henry still has Victor right right there. And that is something Kenny would give anything for. Yet instead of being bitter, Kenny just wants people to protect the family they still have. Because in this town, nobody knows who won't make it to tomorrow morning. Kenny and Victor finally get Henry to his room. He passes out almost immediately. Victor then shows Kenny the drawing, the full truth of what happened to Miranda. And without saying it directly, the message is clear. There is something in this town far, far worse than the monsters that come out at night. On the other side of town, Jade and Boyd are in the office waiting for the mushrooms to kick in. After a short while, Jade starts seeing spiders crawling everywhere. The trip has started. Now, spiders have shown up repeatedly throughout this entire series, and at this point, it feels very intentional. They seem connected to either the architect of this town or the yellow suit man himself. Pay attention to the spiders. They keep appearing for a reason. Jade starts panicking as the board sign light begins flickering. Boyd tells him the spiders aren't real and gets him to sit down. They work out a system. Jade needs Boyd to keep telling him what's real and what's the drug so he doesn't lose his mind completely. And from here, whatever Jade is about to see on this trip could be the key to unlocking some of the biggest mysteries this show has been building toward. And we will cover that in the next episode breakdown, so make sure you're ready for that one. That's episode 5, everyone, and honestly, this might be the most theory-heavy episode of the season so far. The Scarecrows, the ancient entity, Tabby's past lives, Marrielle's visions, and now Jade's trip. Everything is starting to connect. Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll see you in the next one.